Hi everybody, happy new year to you and welcome back to another Pushing Polygons. Xbox has announced that they are doing a developer direct on January the 18th. This is going to be a new direct where we get updates on games that we've been waiting for a while. With that being said, let's go ahead, let's get into it and speculate on what Microsoft and Xbox are going to show us next. With the Xbox Developer Direct coming up on the 18th of January, they have announced 4 of the games that we're going to see there. Indiana Jones, Sesuna's Saga, Hellblade 2 or Hellblade 2 Sesuna's Saga, Aria, History Untold, and we're going to be seeing Avowed. I think it's important that we go through these games one by one and talk about what we are potentially going to see here. And I want to start with Indiana Jones. Now, we've known about Indiana Jones for a while now. This game was CGI previewed back in 2022, I think it was. Maybe it was 2021. And it was a big shocker. And the question has been, is the game coming to PlayStation or is it going to be exclusive to Xbox? Now, we do have that answer where Microsoft has said that they went in and they renegotiated some contracts with Disney and that game will be exclusive to Xbox. But what are we going to find out about here in the Developer Direct? Well, I think the first thing that we're going to see is we're going to see actual gameplay. It's not going to be CGI. Now, whether it is in-game ready to release or whether it's in engine, now that is going to be the big question. Historically, when Machine Games has showed their games, whether it was Wolfenstein 1 or Wolfenstein 2, they have shown those games actually running. They weren't just like in-engine images. These were the games that were actually playing. So I think they are going to continue that and actually show the game running as they have it up. Now, the big question is, will we get a date? And is that date going to be 2024? Rumors are suggesting the game may be 2024. I am not so confident of that, considering this will be the first showing of Indiana Jones. We either get holiday 2024 or we're going to get a generic 2025. Being that it is the Developer Direct, I guess I'm going to have to walk back my 2025 and say that this may be Microsoft's big holiday game for 2024. November-ish is what I am thinking if this game comes out. However, I don't think we get an exact date until like June when Microsoft does their big presser. So if they do that, then at that point, that is when we get the specific date for the game. If we don't get a specific date for the game, definitely 2025. Now, of course, development can be delayed. So even if they say 2024 at the Developer Direct, it's still possible the game could get pushed to 2025. I don't, until a game, until they say it's gone gold or it's shipped to stores or they've put it in Game Pass. I mean, because you can't take it back, I guess, after you've published it. In a few cases you can, but they have to be total dog crap or on fire. Once it's out, it's out. So I think for now, we are looking at a late holiday season, like right before Christmas. So like maybe, I don't know, let's just say the second Tuesday of November, whatever that date is. And that's where I'm going if it's a holiday release. Now let's move on to Avowed. Now, Avowed is the big Obsidian game that everybody has been waiting for. It is the game that everybody has wanted to see since it debuted. Now, they've already showed us in-engine action, and This is supposed to be Obsidian's Elder Scrolls moment. Now, with the gameplay, I don't think you're going to have like the exact same type of go around the world and pick up everything, and you create things like with Fallout 4, or pick up everything like you could in Skyrim. Like, if you're expecting that, I think that's the wrong type of game. But Obsidian is known for their storytelling, and I do think that we are getting a date for this game. I think this is going to be a September-October release. Considering Microsoft also has Call of Duty coming out in the fall, and I don't think they're going to want their other products trampled by Call of Duty. Now, Call of Duty is not going to be at this developer direct. No Activision games are at this developer direct. But just talking about Call of Duty in reference to where Microsoft is going to position these other games. So September, early October, before the Call of Duty rush, before everybody does it. I think we get a nice big new trailer. I do think we get the specific date here at the developer direct. I think this game, this and Indiana Jones. Now, Indiana Jones is more of a franchise which does have a video game history, but Indiana Jones hasn't had a consistent video game history. So as a franchise in the video game landscape, I don't think it's not going to be as big as eventually the Blade game that Microsoft is working on, because Marvel's been in video games forever and consistently. I mean, going all the way back to at least the Genesis. I'm sure there were games on the NES as well. So Marvel's been in gaming for a long time and consistently in gaming. So that game is going to be like magnitudes bigger than Indiana Jones is. I think the last Indiana Jones game was on the original Xbox. So with that being said, I think that Avowed is going to be the bigger game just because of Obsidian's pedigree. Now, hopefully Obsidian has had a good opportunity, and I think Microsoft would let them, considering some past games where Obsidian hasn't been known to release unbuggy games. I mean, you could debate whether who's worse, Bethesda or Obsidian.
People don't like you very much, do they?
Knights of the Old Republic 2 notoriously was an unfinished ending. Yes, they were rushed by LucasArts, but that game had other bugs. I mean, there was a game-breaking bug in the beginning of that game where if you didn't roll the right skill check, you were stuck. Like, you could not get through it and complete the game. So I think Microsoft's going to give them the opportunity to flesh it out, to make sure it's a good, clean run. And I think this is going to be one of the biggest games for Xbox this year and in the last several years, even including Starfield, because I think the ability for Avowed to hit right is going to get things in the areas that Bethesda missed. I think that's going to be their biggest game of the year. Aria History Untold, I think that's a strategy game. I'm not 100% sure on that. I would have to do some more research. Probably some gameplay, maybe a date drop, but I don't really think that a lot of people are looking forward to that game. So I don't want to say that's going to get just dumped to die, but I think that it is definitely a PC-centric game. At least that's how I feel about it from what I think I remember of the game. And then, of course, we have Hellblade 2. Now, we have seen some action with Hellblade. We have seen a lot of walking or standing in a cave or just graphics. Now, the game is beautiful. The game is absolutely beautiful. Now, Hellblade 1, it got a lot of attention, but I'm not quite so sure what it did for sales. The second one definitely could be a bigger success, especially with Microsoft behind it, but I think it definitely needs a cohesive, bombastic trailer during this developer direct really to put eyes on it. There's a lot of people in the Xbox community which really look at that game because graphically, I mean, that game is beautiful. It would be one of the showpieces on your console. Gameplay wise, I haven't played the first one. I can't speak for that, but gameplay wise, maybe it's not a Gears or maybe it's not Halo. I mean, I'd rather go more for Gears at this point because I feel like Halo's been a little stained in reputation over the last couple games. But Hellblade, as I said, I think it's going to get a bigger following. I think it's going to attract more people. The game is clearly a beautiful showpiece. I think we get a date. I actually think that date is going to be earlier in the year. I'm thinking like a May launch for that. Like May, I don't know, 12th or something to that effect. I think it's going to be early year. So I'm looking at a calendar right now. Okay, I said May 12th, but it looks like May 14th is the Tuesday. So I'm saying May 14th that is going to be a Hellblade 2 release. That's going to give people some time to whet their appetite, get their hands on what is been a bigger name for the Xbox first-party studios since the Hellblade developer was acquired. And I think that would be a good appetite whetter, especially a month prior to heading into the Xbox showcase, where they're going to show us more great games for 2025. Guys, I think that Xbox is finally going to get to a position, because now they own enough studios, now they own enough IP, now that these studios have been working on things a lot, they are going to start chugging along, and we're going to start getting some games. Now, I also want to get into the conversation about Xbox being third party. We're going to do that in a separate video. But before I get done this video, I think one last question is, do we get a surprise announcement? I'm going to quote Randall Thor here, and I'm going to say if they do the surprise announcement, then everybody's going to expect it every year going forward. They could announce something that's further out as a surprise, but I don't think we get a shadow drop. I think that's where we're going with this developer direct. I could, of course, be wrong with all of this, but I think we get a surprise announcement, but no shadow drop. You know, next year we could get a shadow drop and not at the same time as they announce a game, but not this year. I think if they're going to do a surprise, it's just an announcement for a game. I'm excited for this developer direct. I definitely want to see Avowed. That is my big game of this developer direct, but I'm also interested in Indiana Jones, especially if it's a third-person action game like it's been rumored. That could be really, really exciting. And I'm just excited for the fact that Xbox finally has games, like games that are theirs, games that are coming from their studios, because I mean, personally, they've put the money in, they've had, guidance on these games. Microsoft owns Call of Duty, yeah, but for the next year or two, like, how much input is Mother Microsoft really having on the Call of Duty games? And I mean, I know their corporate structure is really more hands off and let these guys cook, but like this year's Call of Duty, as far as I'm concerned, that's an Activision game. Like, I mean, maybe there's some input on that, but I don't see there being a lot of changes this deep into the development of that game. But next year or the year after, maybe there's some input, and we can definitely call that like a true blue Microsoft game, or I guess a true green Microsoft game. What do you think? Are we going to get a surprise for this direct? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel so you can get notified of games that are coming up. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.